3, 2, 1, and this Christmas will be so special for you and me. Yes, it will. Whoa. Hey, shake a hand, shake a shake a hand, shake a hand. Hey yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arsenal Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy, and if you don't celebrate none of the holidays, just happy time to be alive for you. This is a merry time. So be merry, be joyful. This is a happy time. I hope you're spending today with your families. If you're not listening to this pod on Wednesday on Christmas, understandable. I understand. You're with your families. You might not be able to play this out loud where you are. You don't know what I'm going to say. Rightfully so. However, this is my gift to you guys. On Christmas Eve, I'm recording this, and I feel like the best gift that I could give you all right now is an episode, right? This is the best thing that I can do, mainly because I'm broke and I can't do a giveaway. I can't do a giveaway, guys. I'm broke. I'm a college student, guys. Give me, maybe Christmas 2025, I'll do a giveaway. Christmas 2024, we're not, listen, it is not giving. Christmas 2024 is not giving at all. Hey, if this is your first time watching the Arsenal Podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the Arsenal Podcast, goodbye. But my name is Eric Curry III. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right, what are we talking about today, Eric? We're talking about a lot today. There's a lot to talk about today. So let's just jump straight into it. First and foremost, I do want to touch on this Lil Baby and Lil Yachty interview. I didn't get to see all of it. I am about 35 minutes into it now. But I'm just going to speak on the 35 minutes that I have seen. We're going to talk about Dame Dash and Nore. That's going to be interesting. We might stop at Travis Hunter and his fiance, because that might be a long discussion that we're going to have, because I've seen this same story happen multiple times, and this conversation isn't going to go in the way that you guys think it's going to go. We'll get there when we get there. Then if we have time, we're going to talk about Joey badass whooping ass, and then we're going to talk about finesse 2 times and hit the y'all know the little nigga that was with him, King. I don't want to call him a little nigga. The young man that was with him, King, and why King is no longer around finesse 2 times. We're going to talk about that as well, and how children should not be surrounded by a whole. We might get to that if we get to that, if we have time. Any announcements that we need to make? Listen, we have one more episode in 2024. So it's this episode, then there's the episode that's going to come out Sunday. Then after the episode that comes out Sunday, the next Wednesday episode will be on January 1st of 2025. So mark your calendars. January 1st of 2025 will be the first episode of 2025. Now, next episode of the Art Supply Podcast, the one that's going to come out Sunday, I'm excited for. There's a good topic that's going to be discussed on there. It's going to be a great topic that's discussed on there. I'm very excited for that episode. We're going to talk about what you need to take away and let go of, and how do you know it's time to let go of things going into the new year, whether that's friendships, relationships, jobs, whatever the case may be, right? When do you know it's time to just leave it be? That's what we're going to talk about next episode. But this episode is the episode that matters, because guess what? We are right here, right now, today. First thing on the docket, Lil Yachty and Lil Baby, aka Wham. Since when have we started calling this nigga Wham? When do you niggas start getting nicknames? When do y'all start getting nicknames? And why don't y'all tell nobody about the new nickname that y'all just made up? Nigga, wasn't me? You was Lil Baby. We was calling you all that. Niggas was not. When did Wham come from? Same thing with Lotto. Where did Big Mama come from? What happened where you was like, Big Mama? That's it. I need to know. I love you guys so much. Yeah, Lil Baby, but and Lil Yachty had a conversation, a very great conversation, might I add, a very insightful, intelligent conversation from the 35 minutes that I've watched out of the hour and 25 minutes this episode is. And there's a lot of points that I want to touch on in this 35 minutes that I watched, right? One of the main points being is adjusting to vulnerability, adjusting to new lifestyles that you now live, and being able to show weaknesses to other people that you will consider close to you, right? So as I was watching this thing, Lil Baby has said a lot of things, right? A lot of great things that we would like for him to hear. The first thing that he addressed, one of the first things that he addressed was him not being seen as vulnerable when it comes to his fans musically, right? And how like he in a sense feels vulnerable, but he realized that like to his fans, or like he realized that to like certain people, that it's like, nah, like we don't know where you were making this. We just know where you are now, but we don't know where you were in the process of all of these things that were happening and taking place in your life, right? So he said he's going to release 2 albums. He's going to release Wham and he's going to release Dominique. He said Wham is like all the hood nigga, all the ratchet, all the fast cars, crazy lifestyle, jewelry change, all that stuff, right? But Dominique is going to be more of the us getting to really know the real him. Wham comes out January 3rd. I'm excited for that. What's the other? Dominique, he said might come out sometime in February. Might come out sometime in February. I think it's interesting hearing somebody like Lil Baby talk about how hard it is to be vulnerable, but at the same time, one, watching this interview, seeing him struggle with vulnerability publicly, but at the same time having a friend there helping him, guiding him, showing him the way of vulnerability, showing him how to open up and express himself in a way, right? And not saying that Lil Baby has a hard time articulating himself, but he doesn't. But you can tell that he's new to the vulnerability thing, how much information he gives and how much he holds back, right? He might give a little information, but Lil man, and Yachty is really good at interviewing. He's really good at getting people to answer questions and not like prying information out of them, but just like pushing them a little, like giving them like not being super invasive of like their space or their boundaries, right? But giving them the extra push that they need to be able to answer questions, right? Or answer questions the way that he thinks the audience needs to see these people, right? Yachty is doing a great job right now navigating this interview and showing the world, right? I think this thing has over 1 million views. Well, I'm not going to say I think the video is literally right in front of me. It has 1.4 million views in 5 days. So Lil Yachty just showed 1.4 million people, just pushed Lil Baby to show 1.4 million people another side of him that we probably wouldn't have gotten if I were to interview him or if somebody else were to interview him. But a guy who's genuinely a friend and has had vulnerable conversations with Baby and has had conversations about his kids and about his personal life, right? And knows him on a personal level. These conversations are navigated in a different way, if that makes sense. Like Lil Baby is more willing and more comfortable to open up with these people with these topics. And I think that's an important part, right? I think when it comes to journalism now, especially with artists and music, I feel like there's not enough journalists out in the field. What I mean by out in the field is there's not enough journalists out actually making connections and friendships with artists. And that's why a lot of these interviews seem weird. And I don't know when the business model of journalism was, we can't be friends, we can't be close, we can't be homies, we can't do this, X, Y, and Z, because I feel like I can be your friend and still be objective. I feel like if I'm your friend, it inclines me to be more objective about the work and not already have a preconceived notion about what you do at your work because we're friends, or knowing that because we're friends, I have to speak this way on the pod. No, we're friends, which means I want the best for you and you should want the best for me. I feel like we're missing that in journalism. I feel like that's a huge hole missing. And I feel like that's why a lot of interviewers, like, or why a lot of newer interviews like interviews with the behind my blanket right now, the SZA and Kendrick interview on Bazaar. I feel like that is that the name of that magazine, Bazaar? Is that the name? I don't know. Whatever the name of the magazine is. On that magazine, when they did that interview, I believe personally that the interview wouldn't have been as good if it was a real hip hop journalist there instead of two homies just kicking it and talking. I feel like some things get said when it's two homies just kicking it and talking versus some things that might not get said when it's somebody getting interviewed and it feels super professional and feels super. You get what I'm saying? That's why I do my pod in my bed. I do this and I do this. Listen, man, I pod in comfort. I think I was talking to my mom about it today, and she was asking me. And I was talking to her about like my setup and stuff. And I was like, man, people be shocked when I say that I pod in my bed. And she'd be like, what? I was like, yeah, people be shocked when I say that I pod in my bed. And the reason people be shocked is because they're like, yo, like that's not like, it's not the traditional podcast setup, right? Like he's in his bed talking shit. He's in like, but when you're on the phone with the homies or when you talking to the homies, where you're comfortable in your house, where are you most of the time? You're in your bed, you're on your couch, you might be taking a shit on the toilet, and you're just talking to the homies, chilling, talking to your homegirls, homeboys, whatever the case may be, chilling in the comfort of your home. This is how I want this pod to feel like. I want it to feel comfortable. I want this pod to feel like how this Lil Baby and Yachty interview feels, right? I want it to feel like, hey, we're two friends, we're kicking it, we're talking, we chopping it up. And then I'm going to see y'all on Sunday. And then we're going to do the same thing next Wednesday. And then we're going to do the same thing, 2 times a week after that, right? And that's just the routine. People want interviews to feel like this interview. I want my interviews to feel like this interview. When I get back into my interviewing bag, which 2025. That's all I'm going to say on that. 2025, Easy's getting back into the interviewing bag. I got some lined up. I got 2 lined up. 3, for real. But 2 guaranteed, lined up. I got some big things coming. Gonna be doing some things. Gonna be experiencing some things in 2025. 2025. I'm expecting 2025 to be one of those years for the pod. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna save that. Next pod. Next pod entering the new year. I will give y'all my prediction on what the pod is gonna be. You feel me? All right. Anyway, back to this Yachty and Lil Baby interview. You can see visibly him struggle with vulnerability, but I love and I accept that he is trying, and I think that should be applauded on its own. Right? We shouldn't make fun of him for trying to navigate what it means to be vulnerable to a public space. And from what I've heard so far, I think it's a struggle for him to be vulnerable with even the people around him. Like, it's like he says something about like, man, I can't open up to everybody around me. Like, it's some people I can open up about this to. It's some people I can open up about this to. It's some people I can open up about this to, which is true, right? You have certain friends for certain things. Like, I have certain friends that I can talk to about this situation and they'll take that seriously and they know how to handle it. And I have certain friends that I'll have to talk to about a whole nother situation. I can't talk to that friend about another situation that I have because they don't know how to handle that situation. I gotta go to my other friends that know how to handle that situation, right? But the fact that you have to stay on guard with your friends in some now, like, I understand why, like, the music can sound a way that it does, right? Why it can sound like a certain way, and why, like, people be like, oh man, Lil Baby is starting to sound a little repetitive, because it's hard when you come from an area, and Lil Baby explained it best, because I'm not from the street lifestyle. I'm not from that. I didn't grow up in that. I wasn't raised in that. I wasn't I'm a guy that tried my best while I was young to stay far away from that when I was younger. Like when I was like going to middle school and stuff, and I was like, all my friends would be outside, I would stay away from all of those things, right? I would try my best to. But seeing Lil Baby, somebody who was caught up in all of those things, not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, or not saying that I'm better than my peers who were doing those things, right? I'm not saying that at all, but just saying that, but seeing Lil Baby, who was someone who was caught up in those things at one point in time in his life, right? And caught up in street things and living that street lifestyle, and him saying now, man, I haven't been in the streets for however many years, but it's still hard for me to shake this mindset, this street mindset. Dang, what's that song called? Why can't I think of the song? Like, I can rap the song word for word, but I can't. When did Freestyle? Thank you. Freestyle dropped in 2017. So Lil Baby has been in the game on a not, I won't say it because he released projects before that, but he's been like in the game at a high level for almost 10 years, for 7 years, almost 10 years, right? So you're telling me 7 years, he said he's only 70% like out of the street mindset, like the everybody's trying to get me mindset, the I need to keep guard up mindset. Like he's only 70% out of that, right? That's 10% a year. So you're telling me you can only crack 10% a year of the, you know what, I can chill out a little bit now because I have to realize that I'm not a street nigga no more. I'm a rapping nigga now, right? And I can understand why a lot of the things he does and a lot of things that he says can come off repetitive to you guys. But to him, he's like, well, I'm trying my best. Like it's hard for me to even tell y'all the stories that I'm telling y'all now. Nigga, y'all want me to go even deeper? Hold on. I need to do some self-search. I need to find myself. I need to do all of these things. And the last project that we got from Baby was 2 years ago, really 3 years ago. It was 2022, and while that album is okay, it wasn't what My Turn was that dropped in 2020. It wasn't with that when he had that motherfucking I go roll like Jock, run that dog like Vic, run that big, run that yeah, we paid, yeah, we paid. Yeah, hold on. This nigga had, hold on. He had Heating Up, Whoa, Emotionally Scarred, Commercial, Can't Explain, No Sucker, Something to Prove, Consistent. That Consistent is my This Ain't the Vibe That I Need, Stop the Beat, G5. That's probably my favorite Lil Baby song. This Ain't the Vibe That I Need, Stop the Beat, G5. That's probably my favorite Lil Baby song. He had Consistent. He had All In, Low Down, We Paid. Dog, he had some shit on this album. He had some smoke on this joint. I'm not gonna lie. So, but yeah, so you can see how difficult it can be for somebody like him who grew up in a certain lifestyle in a certain way, for him to have vulnerability issues, for him to have issues opening up to people, right? And if you have problems opening up to people, it's going to be difficult for you to open up in your music, because ultimately in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, people are going to hear this. So, and also something that Lil Baby said that gave me a different perspective on a lot of things, right? Is when Lil Baby started talking about therapy. And he was like, man, you know, therapy, he was talking about how therapy for him is different than what therapy might be for a lot of people, and how he navigates therapy different. How for him is not necessarily paying a therapist to sit down and talk about your problems. And for him, it could be him walking around the house with his grandmother, and the car was one of his homeboys, and that's therapy to him. And people often say like, he's not a therapy advocate. And he explicitly said, no, I am a therapy advocate. I'm just not that sort of therapy that y'all try to like box people into. And I never thought about it like that. I never sat and thought about how therapy looks different for everybody. different people find different things therapeutic. Sometimes sitting down and talking to a therapist is therapeutic for people, but other times sitting down and talking to your best friend can be therapy. Sitting down talking to your grandma, your dad, your mom, your aunt, your cousins. Like, therapy looks different for different people. Working out could be therapeutic. Cooking could be therapeutic. What else could be therapeutic? Basketball, football, sports, podcasting is therapy for me. I feel like this is a sort of emotional therapy for me, hopping on the pod, getting to talk, getting to all my grievances out, getting to talk about things that's happening in my life, getting to talk about things that I see, opinions that I don't normally share in front of a lot of people. I can share them on the pod, right? Because this is a no judgment free zone. And a lot of conversations that I don't necessarily want to have with people, or a lot of the conversations that I don't necessarily know how to have with people, I have them on the pod. And and I know it's a safe space, and I know that it's a space that I can just let go and just be me 100%, right? A lot of people don't have that, or a lot of people think that can only look one way. But Lil Baby kind of cracked the code on something, kind of like, I don't know how or when it clicked for him, but therapy looks different for him. And the things that he finds therapeutic, and so far, he didn't say any substance. Like, he didn't say weed was therapy for me, or the drink was therapy for me, or drinking was therapy for me, or he didn't say none of these things. He was like, no, talking to people is therapeutic, but I'm just not going to talk to the people that y'all say I need to talk to. But also, on the other hand of that also comes with a vulnerability thing. Like, you not being able to open up to, and again, complete stranger that doesn't know you and has a so-called degree in this. I understand. But at the same time, if this is somebody's job and they understand how the brain works and they can able to connect thoughts and ideas and things, like, I remember my first time going to therapy, and I remember the first time my therapist connected something I said from like weeks ago to something I was saying in that specific session. And I just sat there and I looked at her and I was like, yo, you're good. I had to give her props. I was like, yo, you're good. Because it was some things that I just didn't think about. There's certain things I just didn't think about, right? And certain things I just didn't connect together. She was like, nah, this is directly connected to this, but you didn't realize that was directly connected. And I was like, oh, snap, you're right. So I think there's pros and cons, but I do believe that therapy looks different for everybody. And I feel like everybody should go to therapy, but go to therapy that you are comfortable with going to, right? Again, as long as it's not harming you or others. Go figure out what your therapy is. Maybe it's just taking a walk to clear your mind. Maybe it's, whatever it might be, right? Figure that out for you and learn that about yourself, right? And the last thing I wanted to touch on was him talking about how he had to, and I touched on this a little bit, but him saying that him still having to adjust to the rapper lifestyle from living in the street. And I never sit up here and talk about how hard it is or how hard it could be for artists to just one day be an artist, right? One day you're doing the shit for fun. One day I'm podding for fun. I'm podding because it's therapeutic for me. It's something that I can just do and have fun and not think nothing about, right? But one day it's not going to be that for me no more. And I'm going to be a podcaster, right? And I'm going to be seen as that. And people are going to know me as that, right? Oh, that's the guy with the podcast, right? Or the guy with the radio show. And that's one day where I'm going to be known as, but I never thought about the day that you just become that and how your whole life changes. He was talking about his two sons and he was like, man, my oldest son, I was in jail when he was like, I was in prison when my oldest son was born. He was like, my other son, he's only seen me rich. What the fuck? The duality of that, right? One of your sons was born when you were in prison. Your other son only knows what it's like to have rich dad, right? And I feel like that's a hard transition for a lot of artists to navigate. And I feel like a lot of artists now, even older artists that we have established, have a hard time navigating and being like, oh yeah, I'm an artist now. I feel like that, and it reminds me of Atlanta, the show Atlanta. Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, he just a genius when it comes to just like stories, right? But how he portrayed Paperboy and how he made Paperboy go from like how Paperboy from season 1 went from I'm just doing this rap thing because for fun, but I'm really a trapper, I'm really a drug dealer, from season 4 to him being like, nah, I'm a rapper. Like, I don't even do, like, man, I'm focused on the music, I'm focused on these hit records, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. You feel me? Like how the moves different, how you graduate and transform as a human, as an artist, and how your lifestyle changes. And then you're expected to quickly change with the lifestyle, which is super not realistic. Like, we got to think about when people change, it's gradual. So when people change, it's like you got to think about like when you have a job and you get a promotion. Promotions happen gradually. So promotions happen as the boss and manager see the work that you've been putting in. The promotions happen, right? And you go from the dishes to being a server to being going from dishes to being the hostess to being a server to being a waiter to being whatever the case may be, right? Or whatever that hierarchy is, right? It happens. All the restaurant people, y'all gonna be like, man, that's not even how it go. You go from all right, nigga, all right, my nigga, chill. Like, all right, hold on, Jamal. Like, put down the 9, Jamal. Like, all right, my nigga, all right. But I see what he means when he says, like, man, like the transition is hard and he's only 70%. He's only feels like he's 70% done with the transition, which means he has another 30% to go. And if you've been at this peak of I'm a rapper for 7 years now, that means it's going to take you 10 years to get to 100%. Which, in the grand scheme of things, Lil Baby's still young. I don't know how old Lil Baby is, but he looks young. I believe that he's still young. And he's still young. I think he might be late 20s, early 30s, something like that. He's young. And so he has time, right? And I think him understanding this now is better than, him never understanding it at all, and him just understanding like, oh, at this point in my life, like, I'm not 100% like rapper mindset. I'm like still a little street here, I'm a little street there, I'm a little street there, right? And him knowing that, like, oh man, to be able to get to another level, I have to kind of break these things up. And that's why he's doing the Yachty interview. And he explicitly told Yachty, which I loved. He explicitly told Yachty, he was like, nah, because I think Yachty wanted to talk about like a record or something. And Lil Baby was like, nah, like, I want to talk, like, he was like, I want to talk how we talk on the phone off camera. He was like, that's how I want to talk on here. I want to talk how we talk off cameras, and the questions you be asking me off camera and on the phone, that's how I want to talk on here. And Yachty being an amazing interviewer and being able to pivot, being like, okay, cool, let's talk about fatherhood then. Let's talk about you as a dad. Let's talk about your challenges as a dad and having your kids on social media. How do you feel about that? And he got to open up about that. And, just that. And again, like, Yachty, I feel like if, not saying rap, because he's already a successful rapper, but I definitely see this in Yachty's future, right? Being able to interview artists, being able to do these type of things, because he's just good at it. He has the personality for it. Honestly, he has the voice for it. He has a good podcasting voice. And yeah, like, this interview is so far is really good. I'm gonna finish it as I'm editing this pod, and anything else that I find interesting, we're just gonna talk about that next time. Next thing on the docket, Dame Dash and Nore going at it. So Dame Dash, y'all know Dame Dash was one of the founders, one third of Rockefeller at one point. Now he's 0/3 of Rockefeller currently. And Jay-Z had them allegations a couple weeks back. Allegations cleared up. Don't really hear much of it or from him no more, but allegations cleared up. The interneted, and we found out that a lot of those allegations were not true. And Dame Dash thought would be funny to go on Instagram, and he was like, oh, them Drink Champs interviews ain't gonna help you with this one. You need the white media to help you get out of this one. White media is only gonna save you from this. The other media is not gonna save you, buddy. Nore like Michael Jordan, he took that personally. Nori went on his Instagram story. He didn't go crazy. You can tell that Nori has matured from his younger days, but he didn't go crazy. But he did say, listen, I hear you talking, but you right now can't do the things that I can do right now. He said, I can go to Paris right now. I can go to, I named all these different, he said Bali, Thailand. I think he named all these different places that he could go to. He was like, man, I could be here today. I can be dead tomorrow. I can be dead the next day. I can be dead the next day. Then he said, all the places you used to be at. I said, whoa, bro. I said, whoa, Nori. Whoa, Nori, that's crazy. Nori realized, looked at the camera and said, all the places you used to be at. He was like, man, you became one of the chatty patties that you used to talk about online. Damn, and you know what I got from that? You know what line popped in my head as soon as he said that? Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? Sheesh. Damn, homie. Listen, I hate seeing our legends spiral. I hate it. People who have been so profound and dominant in the culture for so long. I hate seeing the spiral of going from the fall from grace hurts me more than it probably hurt them. Because it's like, damn, like at one point we looked up to you. We saw you. We was like, oh man, Dame did it. We can do it. Well, at one point, other people did. I wasn't alive when you was doing it. I was by the time I was born, the fat boys broke up. They said the rock boys, even the rock boys break up. What happened to the rock boys? Even the rock boys break up, and every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with E. Like, you know. You know what? Somebody get me in the booth. Even the rock boys break up, and every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with E. Like, damn. But yeah. So by the time I was born, the rock boys already were done. The rock boys were done. But I will say this. I will say that, like, I will say this. You and your beef with another person doesn't have to involve a third party. If Dame and Jay have beef, or Dame is beefing with Jay, because the beef seems very one-sided, because Jay-Z doesn't really say anything at all. The beef seems very one-sided. But if Dame is beefing with Jay, or has a problem with Jay, or just always comes at Jay, for whatever reason, and he does that, why are you bringing Nori into this? Nori has nothing to do with this. Drink Champs had nothing to do with this. Also, why are you so strung on these white media platforms? Oh, these white media platforms got to save you. These white media platforms got to save you. Damn, where's your media platform at? Where's your media platform, my boy? My boy, where's your platform at, my boy? But what you got going? What you got cracking? What you got in the fryer pan? What you got cooking? Can the rock smell what you cooking? Boy, I need to be a rapper today. Can the rock smell what you cooking? What you got? What's your media company called, Dame? What you got going on, brother? That's what I want to know. Listen, Kendrick Lamar said this best. I hate a nigga hating on a nigga and they both. No, I hate a bitch hating on a bitch and they both hoes. I hate a nigga hating on a nigga and they both broke. Listen. If you are here and you're going to sit and talk about black media platforms, why not we uplift the black media platforms instead of saying these black media platforms can't save you from X, Y, and Z? Why don't we just sit up here and uplift the platforms that you speak of? Maybe because why? Or why don't you go on to these black platforms? Or make your own platform and make it worthwhile. Make your own platform, make it worthwhile. Dame, how about you start doing interviews and then there won't be a problem. Maybe you should start doing interviews. Dame, you know what, Dame? I would love to see you start doing interviews. I would love to see you interview other people, and I would love to see that. But instead of doing that, you go ahead and you do the hating thing, which makes you look like a clown, which makes us all sit there and be like, damn, Dame. And we don't want to be like, damn, Dame no more. We wanna be like, yeah, Dame, look at him working, look at him. But we like, damn, Dame. What did he call him? Lame Yash or something like that. Nori called him like lame Yash or something like that. Listen, Dame, I'm praying for you. I hope all is well with your mental. I hope all is well when it comes to that. But at the same time, like, brother, we gotta be better. Like, you're grown, you're old is freak. Like, we gotta be better. Last thing on the docket is 10:06. I need to go to bed. It's Christmas tomorrow, cuh. I'm gonna touch on this. I'm gonna talk about this. I didn't want to talk. All right, Travis Hunter and his fiance. I did not want to talk about this. 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 But you all seem to be forcing my hand on this topic in this situation, which, deep sigh, is very upsetting because listen. If you don't know, people online are telling Travis Hunter to break up with his girlfriend, because of all of the red flags that she's been having, and people posting like things from her past and how, like, a whole bunch of stuff that came out about her. Right? It's too much. It's too much to list. Like, there's a picture of her and some guy at some party, and she leaned up on him and his hand is on her butt, and the dude made t-shirts with him and Travis Hunter's girl on the front of the t-shirt and the Heisman Trophy on the back, which is crazy. Then there's another video of her at some other guy's house laid up on some other guy, and it's videos of her just in a dude's music video, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff, right? I want to say this. I just want to say this, and I'm gonna try to keep this very short and brief. Where's y'all hoes at? Where's y'all fiancés and wives and all that? Where's y'all's at? I don't do good with the hurt man talk. I don't do good with that. You can't talk to me in hurt man talk, and I hope Travis Hunter understands that. Any hurt man. Any man that is still hurt from a past experience, not an OG giving game, because there's a difference. I've seen a lot of OGs try to give game on the situation, but I've also seen a lot of hurt men just be hurt online. I'm not taking advice from people who are hurting, because you're not even in the right you're not even in the right state of mind to even give me advice or to even understand what you're saying truly. So I'm not one. That's rule number one. Don't listen to hurt people about any advice. Don't let hurt people give you advice. Let healed people give you advice. Advice from hurt people is just going to hurt you. Let healed people give you advice, and you'll be able to tell the difference. Listen, Travis, I'm not here to tell you should break up with your girl, you should stay with your girl. Nigga, that's up to you. That's your business. You know what you got in your relationship. He's with her every day. Why are we acting like we know his relationship and we know his girl better than he knows his girl? Yes. Have we all seen this play out before? Yes. But at the same time, and am I going to give her the benefit of the doubt because people grow? Yes. People grow. People mature. People change. People change over a year. People change over 2 years. A lot of these videos that were taken when I don't think they have even met yet. I think Travis was still in high school when a lot of these pictures and videos were taken. And she was with all these other guys and stuff. And a lot of y'all going to sit up here and say like, well, she was with all these other guys and you got to account for her past. Yes, I agree. You got to account for somebody's past. Somebody's past matters. That matters. But at the same time, if you ain't my girl at the time and and I didn't know you or we wasn't talking or nothing, and then once we talking, you kind of dropped all of that stuff, then it is what it is. Like that was all before I met you. I'm not going to sit up here and say that this girl is a gold digger. I'm not about to sit up here and say that this girl wants Travis for his money. I'm not about to sit up here and bash this girl like how y'all are doing online. But really, I know what a lot of y'all are doing. A lot of y'all are just projecting the hurt that y'all have from ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, ex-partners that y'all have dealt with. And y'all are just projecting that onto this girl, which is very unfair to her. That's very unfair to her. And she came out with a video, a statement saying a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't watch her video because it was too long, pause. But she shouldn't have to explain anything to anybody. And everybody's being funny and joking about this and trolling about this. And people posting pictures of Travis Hunter's fiance and posting all these pictures about her and her past, and then coming out and saying, oh yeah, bro, we was just trolling because all of the things that was happening. Bro, that's not funny. That's not fun. This is somebody's life and livelihood that y'all messing with. Oh yeah, bro, we're just posting this because it's funny and because it's in the news right now, just for some clout, just for some. Bro, that's not funny. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. Like that's not funny. That's not hilarious. That's not a kiki ha ha moment. This is somebody's life that you're playing with. This is somebody's life that you're teasing. This is somebody's real life situation. Y'all made this boy Travis deactivate his social media. He just won the Heisman, 2 weeks ago? Nigga couldn't even enjoy him winning the Heisman because all the news is about him and his girl. How about we talk about this nigga playing both sides of the ball and winning Heisman? How about we talk about him going to a bowl game? How about we talk about him being a top draft pick in the draft? How about we talk about him being a star student and him being a great guy? Everybody who has ever talked about Travis Hunter has always talked about him being a great guy. Why are we talking about his girlfriend? Why is all the news about him? When he's the Heisman Trophy winner. When he's the one declaring for the NFL draft. His girlfriend not declaring for the NFL draft. Travis is. So why don't we keep the news about Travis and not Travis and his girl? Now let's just keep it about Travis. If y'all are really here to help Travis Hunter, like Shador said, the people who really want to help him and really need to contact him, they have his number. They know how to contact him. They know how to get in reach with him. But for all of y'all that are posting and being like, oh, you need to protect yourself, you need to do X, Y, and Z, I want to shout out Clarissa Shield, and I want to shout out Lou Young for publicly defending Travis and being super loud when it comes to being supportive for Travis and making sure the light and attention stays on Travis Hunter and not Travis Hunter's girlfriend. I'm not saying that Travis Hunter's girlfriend doesn't matter, but just saying in the grand scheme of things, when we look and we be like, oh man, Travis Hunter is the $100 million guy. Travis Hunter is the Heisman Trophy winner. Travis Hunter is the one that plays both sides of the ball. Travis Hunter is the one that's about to play in the Alamo Bowl. Let's keep all news about him. And let's keep the news positive at that. But look, come on. Let's do it. Like, I don't get it. A lot of you guys are miserable. And I understand a lot of you guys are hurt, and I get it. Hurt people, and I get it that you guys just are speaking from ill experience, but also you guys are ill-advised. So don't give advice if you are ill-advised, which a lot of you are. And sadly, you know where I'm going to end this pod at? There's a lot of ill-advised people with podcast mics. Don't worry, in 2025, we're going to make sure all of those go away. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I will give y'all my dead or alive. Now, if this is your first time watching the Art Spot Podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the Art Spot Podcast, goodbye. But dead or alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist gets to choose artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist. We can choose 100 artists. This is my pod. I'm going to do whatever I want. You know what? I want to do an interview with Lil Yachty. But I want it to be a not traditional interview. I don't want it to be like him interviewing me or I'm interviewing him. I want it to be like us, just a chit chat. I want it to be like a recorded chit chat between me and Lil Yachty. I feel like that would be very entertaining. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Art Spot Podcast. I've been your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Art Spot Podcast. If you liked what you heard, if you liked what you saw, make sure if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. Remember that artists never die. Remember that I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it with meaning. Do it with purpose. Do it well. Happy holidays. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. And all the things. And if you don't celebrate, just happy merry times. Just happy times. Happy times that we're having right now. I will see y'all Sunday. One more pod until we enter 2025, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. I will see y'all when I see y'all, though. Peace and love.